Hello, I'm Steve. A little about myself. I'm a retired law enforcement officer with 20 years of service. I began my career in the jail, worked the road, and became an investigator. During my career, my training consisted of everything from SWAT to becoming a state certified crime scene technician. I've investigated crimes from thefts to homicides. After retiring and becoming aware of true crime and web sleuths, I started my channel for web sleuths to better understand the perspectives of law enforcement. Not only do we cover true crime, I go out into the field and assist families who have lost loved ones to homicide and their cases are considered cold. Join me as we look and bring attention to these critical cases.
Hello, everyone. Glad you're able to join me tonight. We're going to be talking about some lab work that's going to be coming up on the Amber Crum case and just about anything else y'all want to talk about as we move. There's a lot going on from Kohlberger to Delphi, but as always, we want to thank everyone that's showing up for the first time. This is our morning watch, morning crew, and as people refer to it, waffle crew. Just whatever you want to, because we start off with true crime, and somewhere around the in a little while we'll bring up the Waffle House and their menu. But anyway, I want to thank everybody being here, and as always, respect families, mods, and each other in chat. Let me see who's part of the morning watch this morning. Last night, as I was telling my members only earlier tonight, last night was my first really good night sleep since I got back from Texas. I finally got caught up on everything. So that's always a good thing. There's Di's here, Stacy, Southern Gal, Jocelyn, Carolyn's here. Hello, Carolyn. Sent Carolyn some text messages earlier tonight and this evening or yesterday evening about our issues that were had in Texas and where we're going to be moving next. Grandma Bunny, that's a great name. Leah, Debbie, good to see you. Jocelyn. Yes, Carolyn. I've been getting messages about the Waffle Crew for several days now. Mr. and Mrs. Steve. Mrs. Steve is sound asleep right now. She is upstairs. Oh, man. Is chat smaller? It probably will be every now and then. I have not been on the air very much because I've been trying to catch up with everything. And so until I get back in rhythm and with all the productions and trying to get the some research done, it probably will be a little bit smaller for a couple of weeks. Hello, Dave. Good to see you. QS or Q's, good to see you. Jinx, I'm from Kentucky, so I know all about the Waffle House. Yes. Oh, not the number of people, the text size. Um, I don't know if it's that or not. My wives, it's hard to read either way, so we'll see what's going on. But anyway, I'm glad to see everybody here. There's a lot went on this last couple 3 weeks, and like I said, we got back from Texas, and of course, everybody's heard that story on the Amber Crum case. And for those of you that have not, if you're new to this is a case of Amber Crum, who went missing in December 26, 1983. She was 2 years old. Her mother's boyfriend reported her being abducted from a vehicle that he had taken her to a store, a local store, in the early morning hours during an ice storm. And while there, she was abducted. Larry Crum contacted me last year and started working on the case. And from that, we developed a team of some really great people. And we were able to go out to Texas, do a search for her in early part of May, and which has taken up pretty much the whole month of May for me. But we've still got a lot of work to do on the case. And as we move forward with that case, I'll be working some other cases also and trying to get back into the rhythm of things. That's the one thing that's really hard and really bad about if you're going to be working actively cold cases and trying to create content for a channel. You have to pick which one at certain times that you're working on because there's just not enough hours in the day to spread yourself that thin that you can go out and do the research and create content and also work some of the cold cases. I know that there are some channels that create content as they work on certain cases. And it's a fine line because some of these code cases have active offenders out there, and there's certain safety issues for families and for people that may be assisting me. And so I always have to try to take and figure out what's the best path and how much content I can create and how I create it and how I move forward. And so until I get that figured out, it's always going to be, a little bit slower at times for our creating new, exciting, or doing some of the CSI stuff I did for on the Murdoch case and also on Delphi. I enjoy doing the CSI stuff, but it is a little bit harder on the channel. Let's see here. What's going on in chat? I see that we already, as I was scrolling up, I saw that we have a few already talking about country fried steak and gravy. That's funny. Yes. Yeah. Geez, thanks for those texts. What happened is that on the Abercrum case, we got everything processed from collecting the soil, and there's still some more testing to do on the soil, but I'm trying to find a lab that will be able to look for some of the organic and inorganic content of the soil that would be indicative of a body at some point during a death and decomposition that would put that person in the soil. And so that's a little bit harder on a 40-year-old case, although I'm still reaching out trying to figure that out. But we also this week, of course, had the what we had collected from the soil, a lot of little small quartz looking, or they were actually quartz. They looked like teeth. We didn't know when we first got them, and our hopes were riding high that possibly they were teeth, for the fact that anything that we find from that depression that indicates human origins, such as either that rib bone or if we have found some teeth, then of course, if it's human, case closed. But when we had the teeth looked at by the dentist, of course, his conclusion was that they're rocks. And so I went and found a rock expert, took them to them, and they confirmed and did the testing to analyze them and tested them, and they turned out to be quartz. But now, this week, I've been working on getting to the lab and getting lab stuff. And I've learned a lot about different labs across the United States, from the accreditation part of it and what the FBI requires and what labs are out there that can work on these cases. So that if it does go to court, that of course, if whenever I send the materials off, the bone off, the if it does come back from as origins of human, then it'd be turned over to law enforcement, and they'll start up the investigation from that point. But we'll just have to see where it goes. But right now, I found me a lab that I'm have a lot of confidence in, and I will be calling them sometime tomorrow and trying to figure out how they on the submission part of it, and will they be able to take it this week. It will probably be a 5 or 6 week turnaround on this lab, um, which is there's nothing we can do about that. Yeah, notifications probably messed up. Yeah. Hello, Blackwater, Miranda Lee. Good to see you. And as always, we can count on Dave that he's um, evidently is a major stockholder in Waffle House. He's funny. Yes, I did reply to your report email. I didn't get this, I swear. You and the other guy reply all. Sorry, but I do reply to that. It was an excellent report, and actually, we need to talk about that report. She's Blackwater says it's 5 a.m. Wishing I had waffles. Oh yes, there's a lot of debate going on right now, as Dave states about the Delphi case, about some of the bridge photos, Photoshop or not, and it is interesting. There's some I can see where some of the images I've looked at, which ones are Photoshop and which ones are not, because something has had to happen for either one of them, one way or the other, has had something done. Yes, Miranda Lee. it, it does make you hungry when you listen to this channel. Please do, Dave. I'm looking forward to that, and then we'll get together and talk about it. And yes, and from Mrs. Steve, professional opinion. You're absolutely correct. Yes, we're going to be doing some DNA testing on rib bone. Of course, rib bone is not, as I've found out, what they really want to find or try to locate or attempt to locate DNA on. When we do submit it, because as I was pricing labs out, every lab pretty well said that the rib would be consumed once I gave them the dimensions of it and told them and explained to them that it's fits the proper scale and all the descriptors of what a rib from a 2-year-old child weighing 20 to 25 pounds would be. And they said, well, that they would pretty well consume all of that rib to attempt to locate a DNA profile and identify species. So, with that in mind, I had to look at, of course, the price cost. I had everybody from less than $1,000 up to $5,000 for the cost of analyzing the rib bone, and I had to pick one or the other. And of course, some of the lower end labs are not accredited, and so that's totally off. While you might save a few bucks, you may not get a true and accurate. They may be absolutely great labs, but I'd much rather have a lab that's accredited, regardless of the cost. And so I found the lab. It's not the highest lab, it is the second highest lab, but they have absolutely a great reputation. And that's who we're going to go with. Um, and, you know, uh, we have the funding for it. and which I want to thank everybody as you watch these shows, and for those that assist this channel, and also the foundation, that the funding's there, that absolutely allowed us to get the crew to go to Texas and house them and feed them for a week. Um, it's an amazing thing. And we still have funding that will pay for the lab work. And I think, you know, and I have to say, I'm very proud that in this last year, that this group of people that even uh, that have come on board for whatever reasons uh, of watching my channel, that in 1 year I have built a, or y'all have built for me, a group of individuals that supports me enough that um, we can work these code cases and be able to submit things to the lab that otherwise, without y'all support, we wouldn't be able to. And so it's absolutely amazing that in less than, well, this is May, so it's just been over a year. So it's absolutely amazing. And I'm humbled by that. Never imagined that I would have the resources uh, to be able to assemble such a group of people to go to Texas and then be able to take what we found in Texas and submit it to a lab and do all of that, you know, from the funding. Absolutely amazing. Yes, I wish it was like it was like TV where the labs results were within an hour. Now, I contacted one lab and they said, yes, we have a pay program where you can pay to come to the front of the line. And then I got their quote, and their quote uh, was the highest quote of all the labs, but it still said 6 to 10 weeks turnaround. And I really don't have a problem paying, you know, to be put to the front of the line, especially for the fact that at that point, to be put to the front of the line, it was going to have an impact on us requesting to go back to Texas and introduce ground penetrating radar into the areas that Carolyn found that with the anomalies in the backyard. But and so I really didn't have a problem if we was going to do that. But what happened is that I contacted the family in Texas today, and they're in the process of being off the properties in the next 10 days. And so we will not have access to the property until the next owners, which should take over the property in June. And so then I'll have to go right back through the process and try to get access with the new owners, which isn't a big deal. We'll cross those bridges as we approach them. It is frustrating at times, but it's something that we will do. Hello, Catherine, Jesslyn, good to see you. We have Katrina, good to see you. Madison, excellent. Mr. Steve, can you do us a memorial for Amber for us in Texas and take pictures of it? I will send donations for it. What we will do, we will be going back to Texas, and I'll Larry left flowers when he left Texas, and I need to get with him because Mrs. Steve is currently getting together a website for Amber um, that will have centralized information for everything. Um, and so that regardless of what happens, that website will be there. It's supported by the foundation and the True Crime Web Foundation. And so it takes care of all the fees on it so that we can get tips and things that if as we publicize and bring awareness to the case, but I'll see with Larry because one of the memorials will not be in Texas. Um, we're going up in July to Iowa. Um, Larry Crum is good friends with Drew Collins. And of course, Drew Collins, the father of Elizabeth Collins, who was one of the victims of the Evansdale, Iowa homicides, um, were Lyric, um, Cook, and Elizabeth Collins were abducted and murdered. That they have an Angel Park up there. And I know there will be a memorial placed in the park for Amber. And so I know that's probably where the memorial will be. Texas, there's no properties or anything that we have access to that we would be able to manage and make sure. So, um, of course, um, Elizabeth Collins has a foundation also, whereas they go out and help other children. And I'll be getting more information on that as we approach going up there to work on that code case in July. And so I'll get some more information for y'all about that. And like I said, I know the memorial will be there of where um, for Amber, because Larry and Drew are exceptionally good friends. Yes, I'm glad, Black Widow. I'm glad I found the lab. Like I said, there, it was, uh, you know, I contacted them all across the United States and trying to figure out which one I wanted, and I got quite a good lesson on it. Um, Katrina, True Crime Web. If it does come back that it is Amber's rib, what will the next process be? If it comes back human rib, regardless if they have enough to do a DNA profile, and if they're only able to establish species, say it's human versus non-human, um, of course, all that information will instantly be turned over to Dallas PD, and the investigation would be um, uh, handled by them. If it comes back as unidentifiable or non-human, then of course we have another course of action of what will happen with the next property owners. Of course, there's more searching to be done, from GPR to actual digs, and then we have other options as far as witnesses that are still with us that we'll be doing some interviews on and with. I have an interesting thing about Brandon Swanson in Minnesota. I don't know if you're even thinking about that one, though. No, I haven't. There's, like I said, I have another cold case that I will be working on in Indiana that I've got to go pick up some autopsy reports either in the next week or two. Although I will probably go up to Chicago to pick up, meet with the attorneys in, um, I guess, uh, sometime in July, because when you're going up to Iowa and it's not that far. I mean, it's still a long ways, but it's not as far as where I'm at right now. Miranda said, I heard you mention Stephen Smith in your show earlier. I really thought they had made some progress by now. Do you think LE knows what happens and have a primary suspect? Um, all the reports and all the work done on um, since all the attention has been brought and the second autopsy was done, those reports are absolutely through and have been analyzed and looked at, and the evidence gathered. And so, whatever evidence that is known to law enforcement and that investigative private group um, um, should be moving towards some conclusion. I just don't know what that is. But it's been 3 or 4 weeks, and so I'm looking forward to seeing what they have found. And you know, if we don't hear anything in the next 60 to 90 days, then of course we're right back where we're at. It's going to probably be limited information that they were able to recover. And so that's not a good sign. But we'll give them another 60 or 90 days. Dave said, just did everything I could to avoid that porcupine. Dang things are everywhere. So he did everything he could. So that doesn't mean there's a lot of hope for the porcupine. And there are the other um, smaller bones. Everything is partial. I have a radiologist that will be looking at all of those and seeing if any of those should be submitted, but they're all extremely small. Um, but I'll have them looked at also. But I have another radiologist plus the bone doctor, forensic doctor that will look at them. But they work together. Yeah, come on, chat. There it goes. Let's see. I'm trying to get caught up. Indiana Nana. That's a great name. Yeah, I'm Ruckus. We're going to be going up to, and he'll be a great help, especially in Iowa uh, as we move forward. Hopefully, he gets to go. He says he's going to go. Yes, the homeowners are selling the house that quick. Now, they've been selling the house for quite a while. That was the obstacle I faced when I first contacted the family early part of the year. We wanted to search in March and were unable to. They some um, issues came up, and then we said April. Some issues came up, and then we said May, and we were allowed to get on the property. And now, eh, we tried to get back to finish up with the GPR, and of course, the house contract issues now, so we won't be able to. Yes, Larry is so worried about that. He is older, and he's so worried that once he's gone, that the search for Amber will end. And of course, I explained to him that as long as the foundation exists, we will take care of a website and make sure that awareness is brought to the case. Dave says I can put a call into Scotland Yard to see if they could run it sooner. Man, I'm telling you, and one of the unforeseen things that happens in labs, and I understand it, is that the experts, of course, whoever conduct the test and how the tests were conducted and the findings, they have to testify in court. And so, and these are the ones that are accredited and qualified to present expert opinions in court. And so that takes these experts out of the lab and puts them in a courtroom. And while they're in the courtroom, of course, they can't conduct tests. And so they have a backlog of evidence. It was far different when I worked with in law enforcement and we had a dedicated state crime lab. although some of the things still occurred, but um, we always had a lab, and you know, certain cases absolutely were pushed to the forefront. And the private sector is a little bit different. Are they building new homes around that house? They are clearing and uh, developing right next to the house. I mean, yes, it's the next property to it. What all is going to go in there, I have no idea. Stacy says, "Is that boyfriend still living?" Yes. He is no longer a boyfriend, but yes, he is. Oh, me. But unfortunately, your DNA profile, Carolyn says she had planted her own teeth in the crawl space to get law enforcement. Would they, uh, would that have caused trouble? Absolutely. Oh, man. Um, Lee, it might not be great if it's my DNA. Let's see here. Yes, actually, Mark, I trying to figure out if I'm going to have 2 trips up. Um, and the reason being for this is that there's about 4 or 5 good days of work that needs to be done in Iowa, to get caught up and push that case forward where we want it to go. Um, and if I come into Indiana and spend 4 or 5 days, then of course it turns into 2 weeks. And so I may be coming up just for Indiana prior to, or I've got to decide which one. It depends on a lot of time frame and what's going to be happening also in Texas with the new owners. So uh, my calendar, but I will be spending some time there, and we are going to go get a cup of coffee in Kokomo. Mark, $2. Thank you, sir. Appreciate it. Appreciate your support. Let's see here. I get caught up. Do you see the potential to add a new member to the team who could process evidence, someone like Carolyn, but with different expertise? Um, every case um, will be different. And as I find people, or people find me, that have different types of um, careers and education and, of course, expertise, absolutely. I I've had people contact me that from PIs to professionals, scientists, and otherwise, and it's absolutely amazing. And I've been very fortunate that I have a network of these individuals, from doctors, radiologists, dentists, um, you know, of course, geophysicists such as um, um, Carolyn, that can assist us. And of course, then in the private sector, private investigators. Just amazing, the network I have already. And of course, I'll look, and I have contacted other CSI uh, uh, certified investigators, um, so that if as our foundation grows and as the channel grows, at some point we'll spread out and be able to work more than just one or two cases at a time. Blackweather says, I'm actually making pancakes. How about one of those drone thingies that does the imaging of buried bodies? Um, and you're not too far off. There's a lot of different technologies out there, including LiDAR and things, so that you can look at surface and um, and see those anomalies. And will we be looking at those technologies? Yes. I have them on my wish list. Um, Now, while we do have funding for certain things, we do not have enough funding for all my wish list. Um, and that will be coming up in the next year or two, because, you know, I have to work within a budget. I know what my budget is. I have my budget and I work within it. But we will, just like I bought a bunch of equipment for Chris to be able to go out and uh, search for Aiden. And so he has all of our camping equipment is somewhere. Hopefully, Chris came back out of the desert, but all of our camping equipment is in Nevada. It should be back into Utah right now. Chris should have packed it all up and took back to Utah, hopefully. And but I haven't heard from Chris today. I'm looking forward to hearing from him and see how that went and what information he has. And but we're going to be using that camping equipment whenever we go out on other cases. I'm hoping to go out to Idaho, um, and look for, of course, there's several children out there that we're going to look at. I got to check with the families and on one of them on Monkey and see if they need our assistance. Now, there was another private group that was working and looking for a Monkey, Michael Vaughn, and so we'll see what we're going to do whenever we head out there. Um, yeah, there's some. You see it in some of the documentaries where they fly around. It's something to do with like lidar or something. And that may be the wrong term for it, but they can see anomalies on the surface. I've saw where they've on some of the coastal searches for like Jamestown and thing that they found buried old forts and things. And I don't know what the proper name of that technology is, but something like um, that those drones do. Yes, it's the LiDAR, I think, Carol. Yes, she printed that out, and it's in our files of one of the cases that we're going to be looking at some point. Hey, hey, friend. Mind of Monsters. True Crime Web. Hey, Steve, have you been changed my channel name, formerly True Crime with Sun? Yeah. Mind of Monsters. Okay. If True Crime with Sunshine was one of my earlier channels that we used to get, and I'd go over and visit her, and she always was on my channels. And now she is Mind of Monsters. That is a great name. Good to hear from you. How's Florida? Ray Jones, good to see you. Love to hunt. Uh, Good to see you also. Make an Amazon wish list, but I highly doubt your wish list items would be there. Some of them would be, some of them not. And I actually was contacted by one of our subs that whenever I go to Pennsylvania to the lab, that they have a piece of equipment that they're going to donate, which is absolutely amazing. That will help. Let's see who else we got going on here. Me and you both, Jocelyn. This technology is amazing and blowing my mind right now. I had no idea stuff like this existed. I learned so much here. And that's one of the things that when I first sent the text messages to Carolyn uh, uh, today, um, that, it's on this roller coaster ride of what we're trying to do. And as we look at these cases, um, that uh, you have access one moment to a property and then you don't. But we will get it back. I mean, it's not a big deal. Next owners, um, it may take me a while, but I look forward to uh, sending Tanya over there. Tanya is a great public relation private investigator, and she'll be able to communicate with them and hopefully get us back on the property soon. Uh, yeah. You're correct uh, that Joe Kenda, that Cop Facts worked for him. Um, that was a amazing fact when I heard Cop Facts talk about that. All right, let's see what else is going on. Let's see. I've talked about we got the lab work coming up, and so let's see what else there is. Um, I did find one of the interesting things about this one lab that if they do find uh, human DNA, um, then of course it's a higher fee. But if they don't, so they penalize themselves. They'll do the same work, but they reward themselves, and I reward them. If you find me human DNA, you know, absolutely, um, uh, that is something that we're looking for. But if they don't find, uh, they penalize themselves, and it's a reduced amount, and that's as fair of a lab as I can ask for. Um, didn't expect that, but absolutely appreciate that process. All right. Yes, I've been trying to get her, and of course, she her channel will knock it out of the park whenever she gets started on it. And absolutely, like I said, the technologies that she has and able to explain. All right, let's see what's going on. And if I've missed anyone with a question, I apologize. This thing jumps and does all kinds of different things as chat builds. Let's see what's going on. I want to thank everybody for being here tonight. Like I said, I'm still trying to get caught up and get everything figured out and how we're going to proceed. But we're moving along. It just occurred to me. Uh, Carolyn is you're not too far from Chicago. And I need autopsy reports. I'll take care of them. Let's see here. Okay. Um, so Chris is back home. Okay. All right. Good. I know, but you're in the same state. Uh, Texas property is off limits now. Why the change of heart? Um, well, they're selling the property, and it's always been something that has been discussed um, and has been a barrier since we first tried to look at the property. And so, as we, you know, they're now in the next 10 days going to be leaving the property, and they've been trying to sell it for months, if not years. I don't know exactly how long they've been trying to sell it, but it's been quite a while. And so now they're in the last 10 days of the contract, and so they just don't want to uh, um, do so. So, and I can't argue. They were gracious enough to let us own the property. And I spoke to them and thanked them and advised them if there's ever anything I can do for them, absolutely let me know. I don't hold any ill will for them, um, not allowing us. So I wish we could, but we're not going to be able to. Let's see here. What's going on? And this is true. The group of strangers showed up, and not all the strangers knew each other's names. And but uh, and that became evident. But it was a great trip, and like I said, it's just the first of many, and we will have some high points and low points, no doubt. Uh, Thank you, Minded Monster. Yes, I made 10K, and that's absolutely awesome. I have no idea how I did it or why, but I'm thankful for it. I don't know how fast or if we are ever grow anymore. I mean, everything's totally left up to y'all. Um, for the fact I'm probably the worst uh, YouTube creator as far as trying to build subs because you have to make choices of what content you make. And some of the content I can't make on these cold cases. I'm just not going to endanger families or some of the help I work with. I don't really care about me uh, because, you know, um, I've faced and interviewed just about as evil a individual that could ever exist. I've been there, um, and I really don't have a problem facing that on my own. But I just don't want to endanger others. And so, whenever I go, like I don't have a problem publicizing that I'm going to be going to Iowa working on Evansdale. I didn't have a problem going to work on the Delphi, and I don't have a problem working and telling them whenever I'm going to Texas. But I am always aware of the situation and of the possibilities of other people that will be in with me, and I do worry about them. And get caught back up, guys. Let's see here. Oh no, I can't be no Joe Candy on TV. That's guaranteed not. But thank you, Mind of Monsters, for recognizing that. I thank you for that. That's very nice of you. No, Katrina, I'm not the greatest of all time. I've surrounded myself with some really great people, though, and I hope to create a team of the greatest of all time, um, a team of goats. We'll find our team of goats will eat pancakes. Congrats, Marty. Um, Carol and her sister, of course, we have this name thing that um, of calling each other by names that make no sense. And for the fact that I talked for 2 days to her sister and had no idea what her name was. And I tried out about 10 different names and she answered to all of them. And so, um, and so we still go with that theory that whenever we're present or talking to each other, we just call anybody anything. It could be Marty, it could be Lester, it could be, I guess, Gilligan, if you wanted to. Thank you, Ray Jones. That's very nice of you to say. Yes, I don't have any reason, um, um, you know, uh, to even risk my reputation or integrity. You know, like I said, I'm just old country boy. Yes, uh, and this is the humor in this is that um, they contacted me, um, Carolyn, her sister, or Carolyn did, and before going. And once we get there, of course, they're interviewed by law enforcement, and they just went off and did the one thing that you're not supposed to do is communicate with people on the internet. Although I would say that I'm pretty well a little bit different. I have a YouTube channel and I'm on the air multiple times a week. So it's not like I can catfish people and or using this channel to catfish anyone. That's very kind of you. You got 10,000 because of your infectious laugh and dry humor. Um, uh, yes, and a lot of people a lot of times don't get my humor for whatever reason. I think I'm funny, but it's missed every now and then. Jennifer, I'm late. I forgot. No, you are not late. You'll never be late. Thank you, This'll do nicely. Thank you. And, ah, Miranda Lee, 4.99. Mr. Steve is the goat. Thank you. That's very kind of you. Thank you for your support. I'll be using that hopefully this week. I was discussing with Mrs. Steve earlier that um, of our travel plans of going up to Pennsylvania, and then was I going to go ahead and run over to Indiana and take care of Indiana prior to going um, to Iowa in July. So, like I said, I may be um, trying to get everything done as quickly as possible. I'm so far behind. Absolutely amazing. Let's see here. Let's see. Ray said something very nice to Jennifer. That's very, and Jennifer deserves it. I have some great mods, and of course Jennifer is absolutely one of them. And oh, that's Larry up under the house working. Did the Nightbot got sassy? I'm telling you about Nightbot. I don't know why you would be the most suspicious one. They probably asked me the least amount of questions. You know, um, I was the last. Well, I was going to be the last one interviewed, um, and until Carolyn showed up in the back of her vehicle. I need a reminder text, Mr. Steve. If I could remember, I would. Yes, and like I said, I'm absolutely amazed in 1 year of what my network of people and professionals are. Uh, Unbelievable. And then, of course, my community, all you, all the subs, absolutely brilliant. I just want to interview your neighbors, Steve. That, yes. Um, there's a lot of people that would want to interview interview my neighbors. I live in a very nice. My neighbors are very nice, very forgiving. Yes, they're very forgiving neighbors. But now, if there's ever gunfire, they'll never call anybody, sadly. They get a yes. They do have a. It's almost a reality show. I have crime scenes. You know, I build a crime, and actually, I got to go up there. I'm glad you. I just thought of that. I haven't been up to my crime scene of the that I created with the synthetic blood and in the woods. I need to go back up there and process those trees and the floor of the woods to see how the synthetic blood held up and see how luminol looks on it. The clothing that we've processed and been washing for the last 6 months it still lights up like a Christmas tree. All righty. Now that is something that if they ever process my house um, with luminol, they'll have to sort out the or my vehicles, or the floor mats, or my clothing. They'll have to sort out the synthetic blood from real blood because I, I, I get cut up all the time, and of course I bleed, and so there's blood trails everywhere. Yeah, yeah. If you need more blood, I got blood and teeth for you. Um, you know, Carolyn took some really great pictures underneath. Um, and I wish that we probably should have set up a camera under there, but it's so restrictive, um, and it we live and learn. So that's a great that in the future I will buy some equipment and do that because that is something that regardless needs to be done, even for a court case. That way you have continuous feed and you can see what's happening and make sure that someone like Carolyn doesn't put their teeth just to get law enforcement there. Good night, Grace. Good to see you. I'm glad you was able to come. All right. Well, we've been on here over a little bit over hours. Does anyone else have a question or anything that you want to ask before I head out? Yeah. Yes, I'm looking forward to hearing from Chris and see what happened this week. And absolutely, he has a great channel. Oh no, yeah, you'd never throw your teeth around. Yeah, yeah, that ain't what you said 20 minutes ago. Okay. Yes, we had other equipment. I had walkie talkies also, but I uh, by the time they got to went under the house and they just decided to scream at each other, it was fine with me. Um, no, I haven't. I haven't started any more kitchen fires, and every time I bring groceries in now, I stay away from the stove. Um, um, for a lot of reasons. Mrs. Steve. also constantly reminds me. Oh man. All righty, guys. We're going to pretty well call it a night tonight, and I appreciate everybody being here. And look forward to seeing y'all soon. Tuesday night, I think I'm going to be doing Coburger and addressing some of the Dateline issues and things. And so I'll see y'all then. But y'all stay safe out there. And like I said, I want to thank everyone that donated tonight, watch, like the video, share, sub. Appreciate everything everyone does for us. And look forward to seeing y'all. I don't know if Chris is doing the show tonight or if I will be on it or not. Depends on what Mrs. Steve has planned for me tonight. But y'all stay safe out there and see y'all soon.